Tired, brave, and loud. The women who moved mountains. There's something powerful about hearing a woman's voice rise in the face of injustice. Today, we're diving into 4 women whose words didn't just inspire change, they commanded it. This isn't just a history lesson. It's your reminder that you're never too tired, too old, or too ordinary to shake the damn table. I'm Christy Chanel, and this is Sassy Politics. Rosa Parks. Most people have heard about Rosa Parks. Now, I realize that they're trying to rip away, whitewash history, and take away any sign of activism where it could maybe spark someone these days to do it. When I think about quiet courage, I think about Rosa Parks. Most people know the story. In 1955, she refused to give up her seat on a Montgomery bus and set off a chain reaction that helped ignite the civil rights movement. But what people often forget, especially white people like me, is that Rosa wasn't just tired from work. She was strategic. She had been trained in civil disobedience. She had spent years working quietly as the secretary of her local NAACP. She knew the system, and she knew exactly what she was doing when she stayed in that seat. And for a long time, I didn't think this part of the movement pertained to me. Because I'm white, I'm a woman, I'm privileged in ways I didn't always see growing up. I used to think that was their fight, that was their bravery, and that was their burden. But then I started listening, really listening, to how Black women have always been the ones holding the line. How they've had to show up for democracy, for freedom, for rights in ways that would break most of us. And I realized, not only does this pertain to me, it's my responsibility to speak up, not to center myself, but to stand beside them, loudly, with full voice. Rosa later said, "People always say that I didn't give up my seat because I was tired, but that isn't true. I was not tired physically. No, the only tired I was tired of giving in." Because how many of us say we're tired, but keep giving in anyway? Keep shrinking, keep biting our tongues. If Rosa Parks could risk her job, her reputation, her life to sit down and claim her dignity, then I sure as hell can risk someone's disapproval to use my voice. And maybe you're like me. Maybe you're starting your activism later in life. Maybe you're just now waking up, looking around and thinking, how did we get here? Let me tell you something. We need you. It's not too late. You're not too late. Rosa wasn't ready. She was right. And your moment to be right might not look like a viral post or a podium speech. It might look like a conversation at Easter, a protest sign, an email to your representative, a podcast episode, a refusal to be quiet. Her stillness that day was louder than any scream. And every time I hesitate to use my voice, I think of her. Because sometimes you don't need a microphone. You just need a seat and the guts to hold it. If you've ever felt too old or too late to begin something powerful, let me introduce you to Fannie Lou Hamer. She was 44 when she became a voice for voting rights in the Jim Crow South. She wasn't a polished politician. She was a sharecropper, a woman who didn't finish school, a woman who had every reason to believe the system would never listen to her. And still, she spoke truth to power with a shaking voice and a spine of steel. She survived beatings, jail, and intimidation, but still showed up again and again. Her famous line, "I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired." Same, Fannie. Same. And if she could rise in the face of that kind of violence and keep fighting, so can we. Because no matter your age, your past, your experience level, we need you. If Fannie Lou Hamer could find her voice at 44 and change history, you sure as hell can rise at 40, 50, 60, or beyond. Your voice doesn't expire. Your purpose doesn't have a deadline. Dolores Huerta co-founded the United Farm Workers Movement and helped organize some of the most powerful labor strikes in U.S. history. But she didn't do it with money or a giant team. She did it through community, through the people, door to door, meeting to meeting. She wasn't just a leader, she was a builder. That phrase, Sí, se puede, that was hers. And it wasn't just a slogan. In English, it means yes, we can, by the way. It wasn't just a slogan. It was a battle cry, a belief, a challenge. And when I think about what I'm doing with this podcast and this platform, it's not just about talking. It's about building a community, creating a space for women who feel like it's too late to start something new. It's about rising together, supporting one another. Dolores built her movement in union halls and parking lots. I'm building mine with a mic and a message. And if you're listening to this, you're already a part of it. Yes, this is Female Friday, but I have to end with President Barack Obama because one of the most powerful speeches I have ever heard came from a woman he encountered. It happened during his first campaign. He visited a small town in South Carolina, and a volunteer named Edith Childs stood up and yelled, "Fired up! Ready to go!" She kept saying it over and over until the whole room said it back, until it became a rallying cry, until it followed him across the country and into the White House. It wasn't a politician who created that moment. It was a woman. Sometimes your job isn't to lead the protest. Sometimes it's to be the voice in the back of the room yelling, "Fired up, ready to go." So now we honor Rosa, Fannie, Dolores, and Edith, and the millions of unnamed women whose words have stirred revolutions. I want to remind you, your voice doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be loud. It just has to be yours. Speak, even if you shake. Start, even if you're scared. Rise, even if you're tired. Because your words, they might be the ones someone else remembers when they're ready to rise. I'll see you Monday for Mindfuck Monday, but for now, stay fired up, stay loud, and never forget you're part of the legacy too. Love you, miss you, bye.